Hello and welcome to another episode of Between the Covers. Slightly different today because we normally go live on a Thursday, but we're going live today 7:05 GMT on a Tuesday with an extra special guest. But if you're watching for the first time, who am I? My name is Daniela Bleckner, author, book journey mentor, founder of a company called Conscious Dreams Publishing. We work with authors from all over the world to help them to get their powerful messages and stories out there in the form of professional books. On the bookshelf behind me here are just some of the 200 plus books that we have published over the last 8 years or 6 to 8 years. I'm absolutely passionate about providing a platform for unseen, unheard authors so they can have their voices heard and stories shared so they can educate, inspire, and empower for generations to come. Now, what is this show about? This show is called Between the Covers because it is a chance for you to really get up close and personal between the covers so you can really understand what goes on behind that author journey. It's so easy to see the cover of a book. Look at how beautiful this is. And, read it and think that was a good read, but just not understanding the whole journey from writing to publishing to post-publishing to promotion, everything that goes into it. So I have an extra special guest today. But before that, I just want to talk a bit about my earrings. If you've been following me on Facebook, it looks like I've got a bit pigeon crazy. I've had a visit by a pigeon. It's been here for about 3 days. A white pigeon just appeared from nowhere on the windowsill. Incessant about getting in everywhere we go, whether we go downstairs, it follows us downstairs to the kitchen or to the living room, even tried to fly in through the front door with my partner. So I'm honouring the pigeon today, who will probably join us on the old windowsill for this interview. Maybe the next interview will be with the pigeon himself. But today I'll be speaking with the awesome and amazing Clare Francis-Slater, who has written this absolutely beautiful book called The Little Book of Balm for the Broken Soul. We've been working together for quite a while now. It was released on the 27th of May, so it's brand new. Healing yourself after trauma, embracing self-care and growth. So please do tap the screen, show us some love, share this out if you find this of value and worth. How could you not? And please do say hello to our Clare. Okay. Clare, hello.
Hi, Danny. Yeah, great. Really good, thanks.
Excellent. So you now are a published author. This came out on the 27th of May. First of all, how does it feel?
To be honest, I'm literally still buzzing from the launch. We had the launch party on Saturday at my house with my friends and family here, and it was amazing. And I've just been on an absolute high ever since then, to be honest, and I've not quite come down. At some point, I might crash. I hope I don't literally crash, but I'm hoping I just come down gently, but I'm still super excited about it. Feel great.
That was fantastic. I saw some of the pictures and it looked awesome. And what amazing weather you had for your book launch. So before we talk about you and your book, tell us a little bit about you and what you do and your journey.
Yes. So, my name is Clare Francis-Slater. I'm a mum of 2 children. I'm a primary school teacher. I also do some lecturing at Derby University as and when they need me. I also have my own organisation, which is a consultancy organisation called Diversity Days Every Day. So I help schools embed diversity into what they do every day rather than tagging on as Black History Month. And I've been doing that for the past 2 years, which has been a really fulfilling, rewarding experience and a real full circle for me. And that actually very much links in with the book. That kind of came about. I was kind of basically writing the book at the same time as organising and launching and sort of promoting my business. So it's been a real supercharged journey the past couple of years. There's been a lot going on. I don't actually just work with schools with that organisation. I do work with other organisations as well, which is great. Really, really
okay, amazing. So your business and between writing, anything else that you've been doing over the last few years, publishing this book then is a huge accomplishment. So tell us a little bit about the book and what inspired you to write it.
So as you know, Danny, I had breast cancer in 2018, in the spring of 2018. I found a small lump. I got treated really quickly. I was super lucky to find it so early, and hospital locally was amazing. The doctors were fantastic. I had a small lumpectomy. It was dealt with. I had some radiotherapy. All went fine. And I kind of felt like I was basically kind of sailing through what I thought was, I feel like I'm actually reading my book. You know, these are actually the words I'm saying in my book. I was kind of sailing through what I thought was the worst bit of it, what I thought was going to be the worst bit of it. And then it kind of hit me after sort of a delayed post-traumatic shock, actually, of what I'd gone through. Because, you know, I'm a mother of 2 young children. My children, well, they're now 14 and almost 15, almost 12. At the time, they were like 9 and 7. So they were little. And I didn't know at the beginning whether I was going to survive it. I didn't know if, I just didn't know how it was going to pan out. And so I just kind of kept going, got through it. And then kind of after I was through it, then I just kind of, emotionally, I started to kind of fall apart. It was very much tied in with the fact that I was on this tamoxifen that just really didn't suit me, because I was only 41 and my estrogen levels dived down. I was basically plunged into an early menopause, and I just was tearful every day. Wow. I just couldn't cope with life. I just sort of shut down on all levels. It was awful. So I just needed to just focus on myself and get better initially, which I did with a lot of help and support. I was really lucky, as you've read through the book. I was really lucky and had a lot of amazing support, and I realized how lucky I was. And that helped me come through. And then I learned so much about myself as I kind of came on this journey and got out of the hole that I'd fallen into. I learned so many things, and I just felt, I think it's the teacher in me, I can't keep all this to myself. I've learned so much. I feel like I need to share this with the world. There must be so many other people that fall into a hole, maybe because of a health trauma or some other trauma that's happened to them, a bereavement, or, you know, loads of things happen in life, don't they? So I kind of I started making notes as I was going through, because it was helpful for me. And then I kind of had an idea during the lockdown 2020, actually, this could be a book. And then I contacted you. And then, yeah, here we are now.
And here it is.
There it is.
I think, hey, how does it feel to hold it in your hand?
Amazing. Do you know what? When I came back from holiday, I remember you messaged me when we were away in Spain, and you.
Oh, yeah.
The proof's come. It looks amazing. And I couldn't wait to get back and see my proof copy arrive. And that was amazing. It just feels such a sense of achievement. I feel really proud. And, you know, it's such a big journey writing a book, isn't it? It doesn't happen easily.
Especially when you're writing about something that's so personal and such a huge moment in your life as well. You know, and I know that there's so much vulnerability that comes with that. And you said something that I think was really important, that, you know, people think, you know, when someone's going through severe health trauma, that the trauma is happening there and then when you're dealing with it, but nobody thinks about the aftermath of it, because it's almost like you're on adrenaline, where you're survival mode. You just want to get through it. But once it's finished, you have this sort of moment where you can look back and think, what? I don't know how long you were in treatment for, but did you have that moment where you just thought, what? So I was all sort of well again, physically well again by the summer. So I had the operation and all the treatment in the Easter sort of time, 2018. And then by the summer, we were back out on holiday, went to France, lovely time. I started writing some ideas for some children's books. I did a lot of driving, things that I hadn't been doing for a long time. And I kind of thought, I felt strong again. I felt physically strong. I felt emotionally strong. But that was around about the same time I started taking the tamoxifen. Hot sweats started coming. I didn't know what it was. And then I went back into full-time teaching in the September. And I think the combined stress of trying to do that, and then my health, because of the, you know, effects of the tablet I was on, just started taking their toll. And I just started crying on the drive home from work, quite a little bit to begin with. And then it was like every day. And then I started crying at work, and I was crying at home. I just was bursting into tears everywhere. And I just couldn't control it. And then I realized I just couldn't hold it together anymore. Did that answer the question? I'm trying, what you asked? It did. No, we were talking about, you know, how we often don't think about what happens afterwards.
The delay.
You know, after you go through severe health trauma, and how do you deal with it? So, I mean, I guess my next question, which I get links to the book, because you're you talk about this in depth in the book, and you talk about, you know, ways that you dealt with it. So could you just give us a, you know, a little insight into how you dealt with that? Because I'm sure there's a lot of people who might listen to this, or who, you know, who have gone through something like this, or may go through something like this in the future.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I opened up to my husband, my family, and told them how I was feeling, that I wasn't coping. I had to tell work I wasn't coping. They were all amazing. I had to give myself some time, was the most important thing. I needed some time to recover. I couldn't carry on working. I was unfit to work, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was just in pieces. So I stopped working, took a break, went to see my doctor. They wanted me to go on some medication to help lift my mood. And I, at that time, just felt, and I think it was the right thing for me. There was a bit of it was a hard journey, actually. It was a really hard journey. I just felt it wasn't what I wanted or what I needed to get better. I kind of felt like I just needed some time and to process what I'd gone through. And then what was quite pivotal was I was directed and referred to go and see a genetics specialist because I'd had breast cancer when I was 41. My mum also had it when she was 51. And it turns out great Auntie Mary had also had it, and then great uncle somebody on my mum's side had also had bowel cancer. So there were quite a few instances of cancer in that, which are linked apparently the bowel cancer and the breast cancer for men. There were quite a few instances of it in our family, and so we ended up sort of charting it all down, and then during the family tree and speaking to this genetic specialist. And my mum, bless her, she thought when we were driving on the journey to go and see this lady, she said, I think it's quite a normal amount. I think it's although it is really prevalent, isn't it, cancer now? She said, I think it's quite a normal amount. But actually, whatever your normal feels like your normal, doesn't it? What you're used to. But when the genetic specialist, she was like, actually, this is actually a lot. You have got a lot in your family. So they ran lots of tests. We didn't have the BRCA gene. But she said there's something, but science just doesn't know what that is yet. So but she could see how broken I was when she said, you haven't got the BRCA gene, that one that Angelina Jolie had, I think. Yes. She said, I think she probably expected me to be like relieved and look happy. But I was just in floods of tears. I was just so broken by all of these experiences I was having. So she referred me, this is pivotal, to a doctor called Kirsty Williams, who works she's a clinical psychologist at Derby Royal Hospital, and she was absolutely amazing. Had to wait a few months to see her, but she specialises in people's mental recovery, either during during or post cancer diagnosis. So I was so lucky to be referred to her because she is a specialist in dealing with the fallout, the emotional damage of something like a cancer diagnosis. And so she helped reshape my thinking. And when I was off and not working out, and I remember one session, she said to me, how do you feel about this time that you're off, Claire? And I said, I feel really guilty. I feel I'm not putting anything into the financial pot. I had all these really negative associations with it. And she said, and this was, I just think, quite pivotal, because she said to me, I think I'd like you to reframe your thinking, and I would like you to start thinking of this as your creative incubation, she called it.
Oh, I like that.
I like incubation. Creative incubation. So I kind of clung onto this phrase, creative incubation. And she said, I want you to just start making notes about anything that comes to you, anything that gives you joy. Jot it down on a massive big piece of paper, like, get a piece of wallpaper and just jot down anything that makes you feel happy. So I was jotting down all these different things: writing, pets, friends, dancing, music, walking, family, all these things. And then I think one of them, writing, came out, and then that kind of became part of my own sort of, I suppose, creative outpouring, to sort of cathartic process it would help me process what I was going through and what I'd gone through and where I was going. I can remember some nights I couldn't go to sleep, but I went through a phase where I'd have like a jotter by my bedside table, and I'd wake up sometimes in the middle of the night, and I just jot down some random ideas about something that I was thinking about first thing in the morning. And I was in a really creative, fertile space. And I remember speaking to my friend, Kate Taylor, a lovely local friend who's a psychologist, children's psychologist. And she said, I think you're experiencing post-traumatic growth, Claire. And that, And that got me thinking, well, what's this then? She was like, oh, because you've been through something, but you're kind of growing out of it. You're learning more about yourself, and you're in this really creative phase. And yeah, that was what was going on. And it was really, it was amazing time, actually, even though it kind of was born out of a really tough time. It helped me to channel my energies into something really good. And I kind of went down into some deep, difficult stuff, but kind of came back out of it, which was why I set up the organization, Diversity Days, why I wrote the book.
Wow. It's so amazing some of the things that you said there. I've got a few questions off the back of them, but just thinking about sometimes our greatest tragedies or our most difficult moments are where the ones that really define us and really transform us, and I think that's amazing. Even Shia Kai, hello, awesome lady on LinkedIn, is saying, I wrote this down as well. Creative incubation phase, powerful reframe. I love that. I think that might be the title of your next book. Claire, who is Helen, who's publishing a book that's called Drop the Fake Smile, says, good to hear your story, Claire. Hello there, Helen. Nice to see you. I loved what your friend, did you say, Jill Taylor? Kate Taylor. Post-traumatic growth. I just think that's, again, with the creative incubation, such a brilliant way to reframe something.
Isn't it?
It really
positive,
is.
And very empowering. I think that's what I needed. I think I'd lost so much confidence. I was just like a shadow of my former self. And these little phrases helped to empower me again. And I felt like I was kind of getting back in the driving seat.
I'm so happy that you had the right support. You spoke with your husband, you sought support, even though you had to wait a few months. And it sounds like the psychologist you spoke to has really, really been of great help. Do you think, just from your perspective, do you think there's enough help and support and resources out there for people who've gone through the severe health traumas after, their trauma?
I think that's a very good question. I would probably guess there generally isn't, is my thought. Because I think it's not a one size fits all, is it?
No.
And so what will suit one person on their road of recovery is not going to suit everyone. What I received was brilliant for me, but it might not be right for someone else. And I think that was something else I kind of really learned, that recovery is such a personal journey, isn't it? And you kind of need to be offered a plate of different options that you can sort of select from and choose what's going to suit you. I was really lucky. I was offered so many different things. I even had didn't even know this was a thing, actually. Equine therapy, that was a thing, is a thing.
Horses.
Yes. Yeah, horse therapy. So I went on a series of sessions with a lovely lady who had also experienced some trauma in her life and had a love of horses. And she'd retrained as a horse therapist, equine therapist. And then she had a special link with the NHS and she was able to provide this amazing support. And there's a section in the book about the support I got from her and the horse called George that helped support me on my road to recovery. And it was, I was really...
Shout out to George.
Yes, thanks, George. Hope you're still going strong. He was, amazing. Yeah, shout out to George.
We've got a lovely comment here from Joan. She says, I agree. Watching on YouTube, I agree that I agree that through the traumas in life, we can grow so much. It's 100%. If anyone who's watching right now has any questions for Claire, please throw them in, because I've got lots, but this is a very interactive show. So if you want to get your questions answered, or if you have a comment, feel free to throw those up. We'll highlight them and you can ask them here live. Claire, whenever I've spoken with you, and we haven't, this is the first time we've actually spoken face to face virtually, but we've spoken before. You always have such a lovely demeanor and seem so positive. So what would you say your secret is?
Do you know? Wow. Oh, that's different. God, that's made me feel really tearful.
Oh,
I don't know why, it's just really touched me. I don't know why that's really changed. I think maybe because sorry.
Should I change the question?
No, it's fine. Maybe it's just because I think I've thought of two things that have maybe a bit choke on that, actually. I would say, if you would say, what's that? What did you say exactly? What's that?
What's the secret? I said you're so positive and just a lovely demeanor.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna go now.
No.
my family. I'm really, really lucky to have a really supportive family. My parents are absolutely amazing. My mum, my dad, I love them to bits. My sister-in-law, my brother-in-law. I just got my husband, my kids. I feel wrapped in love and positive support. I think my mum and my dad. It was really interesting when we had this book launch at the house this weekend. So many of my friends said how amazing my parents are. And they are so amazing. They're such an inspiration to me. They're so positive. And oh gosh, we've had some really big conversations these past couple of years, Danny, as well. Especially what with everything that's been going on to do with race. Mm-hmm. Since George Floyd's murder, we were discussing all these things as a family, me starting up my organisation to help embed better diversity into schools. We've talked about experiences that I had as I was younger. And this might surprise you. I don't know, it might or might not, but we didn't talk about race as a family when I was growing up. My mum is white, British. My dad's Black Caribbean. It's not that it was off the table. It just was never on the table. It was not like we couldn't, but it just didn't.
It was.
Sorry?
Yeah, I can relate to that. My it's the other way around for me, but it's the same thing. We didn't really have the race talk. We just lived as we lived.
Yeah, and my mum and dad, just my mum and dad and I didn't think about it on a conscious level. There was a lot of stuff going on subconsciously, which I've now looked back on and I can see what was happening. That's in the book as well. But I wasn't conscious of this at the time. But we've had a conversation recently. I said to mum and dad, why didn't we talk about race, or why didn't you, I don't know, give me kind of a bit of a heads up on things? And my mum said really lovely thing. She just said, well, we just hoped our love would carry you through, Claire.
Aww.
So I know there's some really big things that have come out recently from these big conversations we've been having. So that was one. So I think I've been really blessed with really positive, really supportive parents who are inspirational in every way. And I think that's given me my outlook and my strength ultimately. But the other thing that made me feel a bit tearful when you asked that question was because I think normally this is my disposition, but actually, obviously not always. Things happen and sometimes your boat can rock and then you just can not feel it. And I think if you are used to feeling quite upbeat and positive, and then if you sort of fall off from that feeling, wow, that's if you're normally kind of up there and then you go down there, that's a big fall, isn't it?
I was just saying this to somebody just yesterday after I posted something on Facebook. Like myself, I'm always quite optimistic. I've got a positive outlook on life. Even if things are going bad, I always try and find the best way forward.
Yeah.
But when you fall, it's a big fall from that space, and it's hard to get back from that. So I get that 100%.
So
I mean, we're never one thing all the time, are we? Life would be boring if we were just happy and upbeat, same all the time.
Yeah,
but I think you've just got a lovely. I can't put my finger on the word that I want to use, but you've got a really calm and lovely disposition. I think, even with your emails, I'm sending an email at a time that's good for me, but you can respond back at a time that's good for you. I think it's lovely.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
So you must be so proud about this book. And I know that you worked alongside Lynn Hollingsworth, who I haven't met yet, but she's done a beautiful design and all the illustrations inside as well. Look at that.
I know.
If you're watching, look at these. Shout out to Lynn.
Oh, she's amazing. I feel so lucky.
How you found Lynn and how you kind of worked with her to get these beautiful illustrations.
How I found her and how we worked together?
Yes.
I've known Lynn for as long as I've been living in my village. Since our children were little, we were going to baby groups together. So I've known her, 10 years. And she's a very lovely, warm, talented, inspirational lady on every level. She's an award-winning artist, so she's special, and she's done loads of stuff around Derby, Derbyshire, nationally. She's a bit big.
I think I've lost for some reason. I've seemed to have lost this stream on Facebook. I'm not quite sure why. It's okay. I will upload the version somehow. Don't worry. Keep going. It's not happened before.
Yeah, so you're all right. Shall I carry on?
Yeah, I'm fine. It's fine. We'll sort something out. Yeah.
Okay, so so I've known Lynn a long time. We started working on some things together, a few projects during lockdown. I think it was 2020. She sent me a lovely email. Do you fancy, might you be interested in this project, Claire? And it was about I'm sure you'll have heard about it, I had to get brain fog these days. It hasn't happened yet whilst doing the session.
All right.
I am a woman of a certain age. That might be a title of another book.
I know what you're talking about.
I'm saying. So the World Reimagined, the project with the globes.
Right. Yes.
And we're looking at the transatlantic slave trade.
Yes.
So she was interested to put forward designs for this project. So they've been globes that were being displayed, are still being displayed nationally for people to reimagine how we look at the transatlantic slave trade and reimagine it. And she contacted me and said, would you be interested? Of course I was. So she knew at this time I was on this really big creative journey, looking at my ancestry, history, Black history, I was all into all this. And so she contacted me and I was like, great, yeah. So she came round. I'm just trying to remember now. We went down to the summer house down the end of the garden. I'm trying to find what my friend did call it. What did she call it? Oh no! Oh yeah, the powerhouse. The powerhouse.
The powerhouse. I like the name.
I think Lynn called it the powerhouse because we kept having these like power meetings it's just a garden room cabin thing down the end. So she was like, let's meet in the powerhouse. And so we're in the powerhouse having these creative conversations about, and we put together these designs. She designed them. I was giving all the sort of the history side of things and coming up with some ideas, and she was taking that and then creating these most beautiful designs. Sadly, neither of them got chosen. Don't know why. I think they should have been because they were great. Did that anyway. It didn't matter because we just enjoyed the process. That happened, and then I think after that we were kind of coming to an end of that, and then she knew I was writing this book, and we just had a conversation. She knew I was on the lookout for an illustrator, or I think I didn't even know, Danny, actually at that stage whether I was going to put some photos in, or was I going to try? I'd even try to go sketching some things myself. I don't know if I ever sent them to you. I don't know.
No, I'd love to see them.
They were nothing as good as Lynn's, and I didn't quite know what I was going to do. I didn't quite know, and I think at one time Lynn did even say, "Oh, I know, you can get." Sort of people who are sort of at the beginning stages of their career who are training to be an artist, you might be able to find someone. And she gave me some sites that you could, and then she just said, shall I do it? And I was like, yeah. And then she was on board, and she was absolutely amazing. The creative process was really fluid. We probably had, if we traced back our email conversations, it would be like yours and mine. It would go on like a page. I don't know, it would go on forever, There was a lot of collaborative conversations, meetings in the powerhouse, and it was really important for Lynn to make the designs authentic, and it was really important for her that they felt like me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she wanted me to be really happy with them, and I'm thrilled. It wouldn't be the same. I'm just looking down because I'm just looking for a picture of. It wouldn't be the same if Lynn hadn't got on board this. This is, I think, the right picture. This is Lynn.
Oh yes, that's a lovely picture.
Yeah, it's a championing difference chapter, and so Lynn. This is actually an illustration. I think I'm right in saying her championing difference, holding up the orange star, and all the other stars are yellow, and that's Lynn being an artist holding up, celebrating difference. So she's just made the whole thing completely gorgeous and beautiful. So
and You're going to have to buy the book to see the rest of it.
Shall I not show anymore? Shall I not show anymore?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what else she's done, and she's just put it on Facebook recently, so you can search her up. Now, interestingly, there are 2 Lynn Hollingsworths, and they are both artists.
Oh, right. I added one Lynn Hollingsworth on LinkedIn, so it'd be interesting to see if she was an artist. So I'll see.
There are 2 Lynn Hollingsworths.
Can I? Oh, sorry. Somebody's just come on and said, I just came to see if the pigeon made an appearance. Now, I see that you're on Facebook. Can you let us know if we're still live on Facebook? Because it's telling me it's disconnected. If we're still going on Facebook, that's absolutely amazing. But please do let us know. Somebody else says, great interview. Joan Martin watching on YouTube says, tears are an integral part of our healing journey. So true. Thank you for that. Gosh, well, the pigeon hasn't made an appearance yet. So
still time.
I want to get still time. We're going to well, we've covered a lot of ground, but I've still got a lot more questions for you.
Can I say one other thing about Lynn? Just to say, because this was nice, and someone said at the launch that it was really nice to hear this about the creative process. The colours obviously are really important. Colours. Colours are really important, I think. And she wanted to get the colours right and to feel right for me. And so she sort of wanted a palette of colours that I felt represented, that I felt in tune with. So she wanted me to share some colours with her, and I was about to head off to Jamaica with my lovely friend Lindy Jefferson last March for a really great holiday to see family and friends, and I'd got all my clothes laid out on the bed ready for holiday, and I thought, you know what better way to show what colours I like but to show an assortment of my clothes selection. So I just took a photo of my clothes on the bed, pinged that off to her, and it had basically all the colours that you see in the book.
That is a fantastic. I've never heard of it being done that way, but that's a great idea. I love I'm wearing the yellow in homage to it, but I love the yellow and the green. It gives it a real natural nature feeling, and you've got the beautiful hummingbirds there at the back.
Yes,
you can see them.
I'm glad you noticed that. Your hummingbirds. And do you see the little lady? I'm trying to put here. See, she's got a little afro, and she's coming out of the. Can you see her at
the back?
Can you see her? She's on the front and the back.
Of course, yes. I hadn't realised. I saw
little lady. So little lady with afro. Just I'm pointing. It's there. Any lady from the African diaspora. It could be anyone. It's the whole kind of growing, because she's like, kind of growing out of something. It was that kind of post-traumatic growth. Just felt that symbolized.
Wow, I love that. And then I'm looking at this now, so I'm looking at this deeply now. It looks like a flower, but also an afro comb.
Oh wow, I never saw that. I love that.
Beautiful, love it. So thank you, Lynn.
Thank you for spotting that. I don't know if either of us thought about that. I'll say we did. We planned that, Danny.
You planned that. You knew that. There's all purpose in that. It's sort of like the hair and the growth. And but anyway, let's move on to sort of the writing process. Obviously, you're writing something that's from your heart. You're writing a real life story. It's raw, emotional. It's your journey. How easy or difficult was that for you?
It was really cathartic. It just flowed, actually. I had lots of notes. You were very instrumental in that, shaping that. Actually, I remember the conversation we had on the 1st of January, 2021.
Wow.
Special day, well, it being New Year's Day. I remember thinking, right, I'm going to start this. I'm going to do this book. So on the 1st of January, we had that call. And you said to me, I don't know if I should say it, because maybe this is what you need to say in your interview.
Go ahead, it's fine.
Okay. You kind of said, you need structure. Think of all the different elements that you'd like to include and let each one sort of stand alone. What helped you? So that was very helpful. Yeah, that was really. So that was.
Thank you.
Yeah, it shaped the book really. And so all my little notes that I had all over, my jottings and stuff, that kind of created the chapters.
Amazing.
So I kind of gathered all these notes into different chapters, and then I found that I kind of created a zone in the house. My husband's now taken it over as a study, so I haven't got it anymore. I've got a new one. It's all right, I know. We kept shuffling around the house during lockdown, who was using what room, but I kind of took on that front room in the house, and I created like a really nice little zone. I had a little candle, and I had one of those nice smelling things with, the steam coming out of them.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Diffuser, one of those diffuser things. And I created a really nice zone for writing, and I kind of got into this, felt like the morning was quite a good time to write for me. I'd wake up really early with ideas, and I'd just go down before everyone else woke up in the house, and it was all quiet, and before I was getting, Mum, can you do this? Mum? I found that sort of quiet space and time, a couple of hours before everyone woke up, was helpful. And I was just writing it all down, very old school, actually. I wrote it all down in a nice big book that a friend had given me. Yeah. A friend from school. And I was writing all these, I'll just name her Sarah Cheadle, just in case you're watching. And I was writing all these notes down. And then I got to the point where I then started typing up. I really, I loved that. Really enjoyed it. It felt really cathartic, and it just flowed.
I was just listening to you talking. Do you think you'd be writing another book? You seem to really enjoy the process.
I loved it. I really did love it. I think it was because I had something I so passionately wanted to say. So that kind of made it easy. So I kind of felt it, what's the word? It was sort of not beholden to me or anything, but not like I had to do it. But I just kind of felt a really strong urge to want to do it. Like I had a message for the world. I had a message. I had a lot of messages, actually. I had a lot of stuff I wanted to say. And so it was really great just to get it out. Yeah.
It's so beautiful when it kind of pours out of you. That's when you know that you have to keep going with it, because it's almost like you say, this message is such a strong message, and it's our books are never for us, it's for other people, isn't it? To read and gain something from. And you've had quite a lot of orders come in, Claire, I have to say. So
yes. I'm blown away. I can't tell you, honestly. I'm so, I can't believe, I think I'm boring my family about it, because I keep saying, I'm like writing daily sort of totals. Oh, we're now this, we're now that, now this. Is that 100 to date, but it's not quite total. 145.
Oh, that's amazing.
That
and it came out 3 days ago on the 27th. So that's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm going to put the link. The link should be, whether you're watching YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, hopefully, in the comments above is a link. You can get the book. It's available at all good retailers. If you're based in the UK, well, but actually wherever you are, you can get it on the Conscious Dreams bookshop as well, which is much better for authors. They get better royalties, and you get a signed copy.
Yes. Okay. And it's also better for the consumer, because, as I recently said, it's better value to buy it from your publishing house. So
exactly. So we'll put the links in the comments anyway as well. Unfortunately, we have come to a close. If you're watching on the replay, if you're watching this, put #replay. Please throw up your questions. I'm sure Claire's going to come back and answer them as well. I will make sure that I download this and re-upload this onto Facebook if we have cut out, because this is too valuable to miss. Claire, where can we find you?
I'm not ready for this, Danny.
Sorry. How can people connect with you?
I'm at home. I suppose you could go on to, this is probably a good thing. Go to my website, www.diversity- that little one in the middle, not the underscore one, days.co.uk. And on there, you can find all my contact information. So you can send me a message. You can kind of connect to me from Facebook, I think, from there, and Instagram from there. You can, thank you.
There you go. Nice and easy.
That's it.
www.diversity-days.co.uk, and then all of Claire's social media handles will be on there.
You can't buy a book directly from there, but if you contact me, I can then put you in the right direction. So
amazing. Do you have any final last words of wisdom that you'd like to pass on to our readers?
Yeah, I think I do, actually. If you're watching this and you're going through a tough time, I want you to know that I was there too, not that long ago. And you can get through it with the right help. So don't be frightened to speak up. There's no shame in it. We all experience tough times in our lives. Reach out and get the help you need.
Thank you so much. You have been an amazing guest, Claire. Thank you for that. So much value and wisdom there from you. Thank you.
You're very welcome, Danny.
So we don't have a show next week. We're having a week off unless I'm going to interview the pigeon. But we'll be back. I'm trying to remember when we're back. Thursday, the 8th of June, 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. EST, where I'll be interviewing the awesome and amazing Annette Austen, who is the author of 7 novels. And you have to tune in to find out what they are. 7 p.m. GMT, the 8th of June. Have a beautiful day, people. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.